friends, Sarah here from gracemyspace.com. Welcome back. Today, we are tackling a topic that people really struggle with, but is actually one of the most basic elements of creating a haven. That is figuring out what is your decorating style. So today I'm going to kind of walk you through some of the main design styles, the different elements that they incorporate, what to look for, and then I'm going to talk about how you can figure out what your design style is and how to incorporate it in your home. I'm really passionate about helping people figure out how to create a haven that serves their needs rather than just decorating for decorating's sake. In fact, I wrote a book about it. So let's get started. First, let's tackle some of the most popular decorating styles. Let's start with the Joanna Gaines design style, Farmhouse. We're gonna start here because it had such an explosion of being on trend in the design industry for years and years. And it's still there and it's tweaked and it's changing a little bit, but it's still a basic concept of what Joanna Gaines made very popular in the fixer-upper. The Farmhouse design style has kind of a story to tell. It's more about the way that you feel in the space than necessarily specific pieces that you have to incorporate to achieve the look. Traditionally, it feels very rural, a little bit country. You have things that are kind of rustic. You add in shiplap and exposed brick, distressed items, things that feel a little bit primitive and organic, almost as if you have humble beginnings. Now, an offshoot of the farmhouse style would be modern farmhouse, which is where my style took root years ago, and I've since developed it from there. But kind of the more modern farmhouse styles tend to add in some sleeker lines, simple accent tables, a lot of black accents to modernize what you might have as kind of a primitive space. And it just feels a little bit more curated and minimalistic than the traditional farmhouse style. Since we're doing farmhouse to modern farmhouse, let's just head right into the modern style. Just like farmhouse, the modern style has offshoots, like you can do mid-century modern, you can do contemporary modern, you can do kind of the Scandinavian modern look. But overall, when you're looking at modern design, you're gonna look for clean lines, simple elements, an open concept or airy feeling space. It's a little bit more straightforward and can be a little bit more angular. You don't really have the soft curves that you have in more traditional styles. It's a little bit sharper and just a little bit more clean cut. Then let's go into more of your rustic country style. Now, you can have a rustic style and incorporate modern elements, and I think that that's what I love so much about all of these design styles, is that you have this base point that you're going to work off of, and then you can tweak it to fit your needs in an array of different ways. But when you're looking at the rustic style, you're going to think more like hand-hewn beams, really raw or kind of cabinish. You're gonna see lots of natural textures like terracotta, stone. You're gonna have a lot more patina played into it with coppers that are aged, or just allowing things to just go through a life cycle of aging naturally. Another really popular one is the industrial design style, which has a lot more of like a manufacturing element, as a rough way to say it. When I think of industrial spaces, I think of going downtown in a big city, finding an abandoned building, repurposing it, but leaving like the open ceilings with the rafters, leaving any kind of electrical or plumbing showing and just painting it up. You just are kind of taking that industrial space and creating home out of it. It has a lot of metals, it has a lot more of a repurposing mentality, and there's a lot more exposed detail. Now we're going to talk about traditional style. Traditional style kind of took a little bit of a backseat for a while, and now it's coming back to life because People are kind of going back to their roots, going back to kind of the styles that their parents or grandparents had. They're loving the soft, clean lines. They're kind of falling back in love with the romanticism of having like a stately home. And it's a little bit more polished, sophisticated. It's a lot more about incorporating really beautiful wood tones and having a little bit more craftsmanship built into it. So your traditional design can be a bit more historic, but now they're also coming out with some of those spokes that come off of it, like transitional styles that has a little bit of traditional, but it also incorporates some more modern elements. Then another one of the big players in the last few years is Boho or Bohemian. This style is a bit more eclectic. It's kind of fun and playful. It has a lot of plant decor, which I am a big fan of. It has a lot more emphasis on texture and fun colors and combining things that really don't make sense together, but then they end up working, and it's more whimsical and layered and cozy. And it's just kind of a really fun way to modernize a bit of a Moroccan feel, or some of those different countries that just really embrace color and texture. And it's a beautiful way to add in a bit of playfulness to your home. Another one that we see a lot is a coastal look, or kind of like a Hamptons look, though they are a little bit different. But that just has so much of a beautiful, open, airy feel to it. Lots of blues and greens and ocean hues, lots of whites, and just bringing in kind of the natural elements of living on the coast. Some people like to add seashells, driftwood, but those are really actually pretty unnecessary if you want to accomplish that. They are kind of the traditional coastal look, because obviously driftwood, seashells, those are on the coast. But you don't have to have those to accomplish that look. One of the newer and my favorite, newest design style that's really gaining in popularity is the organic modern look. And it actually combines a lot of the design styles that we've kind of already talked about into one. It has a lot of rustic elements, it has a lot of organic elements, it has some modern elements. It kind of relies on an organic feeling to your home. A lot of natural textures, a lot of beams and linens and antique elements that have just a storied history to them. And then it layers in the modern conveniences and comforts. That is definitely kind of the design style that I am shifting towards. And I think that that's something that I just want to emphasize in this video, is that you can start over here. And over time, you are eventually gonna shift. And that is something that so many people miss out on because they think that it is wasteful, or that they can't keep up with changes, or yada, 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 whatever your reason may be to stay stagnant in your design. But there is so much fun and freedom in changing and incorporating new elements, even though they might not fit with your original plan, and shifting your home along with your style in small ways and creating a new look that is uniquely you. Another design style that really gained in popularity over the last few years is just the minimalist style. And that's literally what it is. You have a minimalist home decor mentality where everything that you have is going to serve a purpose. And if it doesn't serve a purpose, it's out of here. Most of the times you see white on white, you see very basic, clean lined furniture. And clean lines just means there's no curves, there's no opulence, there's no patterning. It's just plain. It's not even really about liking the things in your home, like, the Marie Kondo thing where if it didn't spark joy, it was out of here. No, it was actually about functionality. If it doesn't have a practical purpose, it's unnecessary. Another one of my very favorite design styles that I love, love, love to incorporate into my home, even though it's not the base of my style, is kind of a European farmhouse style. This style takes a lot of those kind of country rustic elements that we talked about in the farmhouse style. It adds in a bit of traditionalism with some really beautiful craftsmanship, a story to tell behind it, and then it adds in European vibes where you have a lot of old world decor. It's a little bit sophisticated, it's a lot organic, it's a little bit storied, it's a little romanticized. I really like that style. Another element that you're gonna really see coming to the surface, especially since the pandemic hit and people were at home more, is called Cottage Core. Now, Cottage Core has a lot of the farmhouse, the European farmhouse, the organic modern styles thrown in, but basically the easiest way that I have to explain it is just a romanticism of utilitarian lifestyles. So let's imagine gardening. Gardening is really hard work. And the Cottage Core style kind of romanticizes that more like homestead living, so that you're really just taking so much pleasure in those everyday homestead, I gotta do this to survive tasks. The way that gets incorporated into your home is with a lot of just kind of a heightened elevation of basic necessities and making them into art rather than a utilitarian purpose. I want you to take a second after thinking through all these different design styles that we've talked about. Pop in the comments, what do you think your design style is and why? It's kind of like an object lesson. What elements of those different design styles did you really resonate with? Pop it in the comments. I hope that this part one of this two-part series on how to find your decorating style has been very helpful to you, because it is important just to kind of get the basic knowledge down of what kind of elements go into each design style, even though they really all end up kind of meshing together at some point. You're gonna have basic elements, but you're not stuck, you're not siloed. There's not like 15 design silos where you can't get out of it if you need to. They kind of work together and you can incorporate different elements of each style into your home. They're more of just a basic framework. They lay the foundation for your mentality as you're looking to what to incorporate on different areas. And in our next video, I'm gonna talk about how to take the knowledge that we just talked about here and looking at all the different decorating styles, even though that was not an all-inclusive video of every decorating style that there is. There are others. These are just some of the most popular. But taking that knowledge and figuring out how do you take that from watching this video to actually decorating your home. So stay tuned for part two coming next. Make sure and hit that subscribe button and your notification bell so that you can be notified once part two launches and you can really get going on creating your haven.